welcome back, fellow adultlings. This is the podcast, Learn to Adult. My name is Abby, and this here is your guide to being an adult. Alright, so hey, thank you guys all for coming back. I hope you all enjoyed last week's episode about keeping your resolutions, and I hope you are all keeping your resolutions. This week, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, learning to grocery shop. Whenever I see the topic about, how do I be an adult, or how do I grow up, or what skills do I need? One of the questions is always, how do you grocery shop? Now, this is a huge thing, and I'm pretty sure you could probably do an entire podcast on just grocery shopping, but I'm going to try to go over some of the finer points with you guys today. We all know that food is essential, so it's important to be able to provide for yourself, all right? Eating fast food in every meal is not only unhealthy, it's also a huge mistake financially. All those trips out to eat, they really start adding up, especially if you're going to a proper sit-down restaurant. Grocery shopping can not only help your wallet, but also your health. It's great. But how? How do you start this? How do you do this? How do you walk into a store and know what you're doing? So, I don't know. It just seems so difficult. I know I grew up just dragging my feet every time my mother took me to the store. Was I taking meticulous notes on how to compare prices? No. I just wanted to leave. I hated it. It seemed so boring. But, now I'm an adult. I needed to know how to provide for myself. I needed to know how to stock my home. And so I had to learn. And that's the secret no one's going to tell you. You're going to read all these guides telling you all the step-by-step things on how you're going to be good at it. It is a process. You are never going to just run out and be good at this. So just take some of these tips, practice every couple of times you go shopping, and eventually you'll find a routine. I promise you that. Right up front, I can promise you that. So anyway, let me impart some wisdom. And I also read a little research to make sure I didn't lead you too far astray. Don't want to seem too all up in my own ego. So, okay, let's just do it. First step, the most important step. Never shop hungry. This is so crucial because if you shop hungry, you're going to end up leaving the store with 3 cakes and a rotisserie chicken. I mean, it's not a terrible way to leave, but it's not going to feed you for 3 days. So, you need to do something, be a little bit smarter with it. And shopping hungry never ends in smart choices. You just end up with all of the wrong things. Okay, so second, make sure you have a list. This could actually just be the entire podcast. Make a list. That's all. I mean, that's the secret. The big secret to shopping is having a list. So what you're going to want to do is, what I do is I will leave a list near the refrigerator or sometimes on my phone and just make a note every time I need something. Now, when you're just starting out, it's a little bit tougher to do. So first of all, if you're just starting to shop for yourself, like if you just moved into an apartment, you need to make sure you have your staples, your ketchup, your mayonnaise, mustard, salt and pepper, some spices, whatever you need, those little things that you sometimes don't think about. So yeah, just think ketchup and mayonnaise. Start there, and then once you're in that aisle, you'll kind of see some other things. Now, the best way to start your list is to first plan out your meals. Now, what you're going to want to do, I know your instinct is going to say, I need to shop for my entire week. Don't do that. That's a lot. That's too much. Just shop for 2 or 3 days at a time. Eventually, you'll get the hang of it. Shopping for a full week's food, that's elite level shopping. You're not there yet. So, first what you're going to want to do, write out what you're going to be eating for your meals. If you're having cereal, sandwiches, chicken dinners, write down each one of those meals that you want to have. Then break those down into the things you need for each one of them. So say you're eating cereal for breakfast. Okay, cool. So you're going to need, obviously, the cereal. You'll also need milk. Awesome. Maybe you'll also need a glass of orange juice or pineapple juice or something to have with it. So there you go. There's breakfast. Boom. Done. Lunches. Let's say you want to do sandwiches. So you're going to need bread. You're going to need deli meats, cheese, mayos and stuff you should already have in the fridge. If not, add those on there. Maybe some chips. Maybe some juice, some soda if you haven't cut it out for your New Year's resolution. Let's say, or also maybe salads. So you're going to need lettuce. You're going to need all the things you have to top on it. Just put those all down in the bullets underneath your list. Dinner can be tricky because, like with breakfast and lunch, you can eat the same thing over and over and over for a little while. But dinner, everyone wants to have something different every single day. So maybe plan out a meal or two. Say one day you want to have some chicken and vegetables. Okay, so chicken. Okay, cool. The vegetables. And then like a starch. So you want rice or stuffing or a potato. Now the next night you want to have tacos. So pick out all the things that you need for your tacos. What's also really good to do is to plan your meals upon the things that you're going to already have. So if you're making salads for lunch, you've already got lettuce. I like to put lettuce in my tacos. So some of the stuff I put in salads goes into tacos. Bada bing, bada boom. You're 2 birds, 1 stone. It's great. So yeah, so make that list. Make your bullet points under each thing that you want to make. Make sure you grab a few things like some snacks, some crackers, some chips, maybe some dessert items, some like a scoop of ice cream that you can have. Just little things. Make sure that if you have a hunger, you're going to be able to cover it. You don't want to be going to the store every single hour. Now, along with your list, sometimes when you start making out your grocery list, you start getting a little bit, elitist about the things that you want to buy because you want to make sure that your grocery list is awesome and you're buying great things. The big mistake I make all the time, buying too much fruit and vegetables, really, fresh fruits and vegetables. They go bad so much faster than you think. I always buy more than I can eat in the right amount of time, and then I'm just wasting food. It's terrible. Nothing feels worse than throwing away strawberries that were so good before and now have just turned moldy in your fridge. So try not to go overboard. If you're not already a fresh food eater, don't throw yourself right in it. This goes back to the resolutions thing. Don't go all or nothing in on the first try. Ease yourself into it. So and also, if you're on a budget, fresh food costs so much extra money. So sometimes it's okay to buy canned food. It stays longer, it's a little bit cheaper, and you're going to have a pantry full of food. Only do the fresh food that you can do. Don't try to budget for all the fresh apples when applesauce is going to do you just fine. So be realistic about your eating habits when you're making your list. A couple other things you're going to want to consider while you're making your list is to make sure you know how much space you have. Nothing's going to be terrible as when you buy like 14 gallons of ice cream and come home and find out that you could only really store 2 or 3. Make sure you know how much space you have. Like if you're in a living situation with someone else, how much of the fridge is yours, how much of the freezer is yours, and how much of the cabinet space is yours. If it's just you, make sure you know how much you can fit in that fridge. When you're out shopping, you're going to need to check your expiration dates. Sometimes when you buy stuff on sale, like manager special things, they're on manager special because they're about to turn. So make sure you're not buying them hoping you'll eat them 3 days later. You're going to want to eat that stuff right away. Other little small tip while I'm thinking about it, don't be afraid of store brand. Store brand things are great. Like I know name brand's awesome and you think it's going to taste different. A lot of the time, maybe let's say 90% of the time, the store brand tastes exactly like the name brand. And you're saving yourself a little bit of money. Even if you don't think that you're actively saving money, you should always be trying to buy the best deal, best bang for your buck. So if you are on a budget, store brand, nothing, no shame in that. Sometimes I found actually better than name brand. I'm just saying. Okay, so now we've moved on for that. So now that once you're in the store, you've got your list in hand, here we go. Compare prices. Compare prices all the time. I know it seems, cheap and counting pennies sometimes to some people, but you go shopping once, twice, 3 times a week. You should always be trying to save a little bit of money while you do it because, you're always going to want to save money. If this podcast has one theme, it's to slowly save money. Everything could probably be boiled down to how can you save just a little bit more money. Now, okay, I have an example for you. At Walmart, a 28-ounce jar of peanut butter is 14.2 cents per ounce, while the 40-ounce jar is the exact same brand, 12.5 cents per ounce. So, okay, I hope you're following me here. So, while the bigger jar is $1 more expensive, that's 30% extra peanut butter being sold at almost a 70-cent discount. Okay, so 70 cents, that's not really much. But if you save 70 cents every single time you go shopping for an entire year, it starts to add up. It's just a little bit of extra money. And who doesn't like extra money, guys? Now, and especially saving money and buying in bulk like that, peanut butter, it doesn't go bad. I've never had a jar of peanut butter go bad, but that's also because I love peanut butter. So, buying in bulk works when you buy things that are going to last longer. It's great. But, hey, if it's not in your budget to spend that extra $1, which sometimes it's not, and maybe you're not a peanut butter eater, just get the smaller jar. Now, along the lines of looking for a good deal and comparing prices, try not to get too excited about coupons. Couponing is a whole thing. It can get overwhelming very quickly, or you'll just leave with a bunch of toothpaste you bought for super sale. Just maybe take only 1 or 2 if you have a few. Just ease yourself into the whole coupon deal. That's my only advice there. Coupons, for me, usually are a little bit more detrimental than helpful. So proactive steps on making your list is, keep a notepad next to your fridge. Again, if you're living with some people, I recommend the app Wunderlist. You can keep a list up to date, and the app can be shared by all the people living in your home, and everybody can add to it. So my husband and I use this, so if one of us ended up at the store, you could look at the list. What do we need? Okay, save some text messages that may or may not get answered, or calls that wouldn't get answered. You just have the list with you at any given moment. It's great. We are at no point sponsored by Wunderlist, although if they would like to sponsor us, please let me know. So those are my overview points on shopping. Make a list, don't shop hungry, and, go there with a little bit of time. Make sure you have a little bit of time to spend in the store. Power shopping in like 10 minutes, it never works out. It really doesn't. Again, that's elite level shopping. Once you've shopped for yourself for maybe 3 or 4 months, you know what to just go in and grab. So find your store, figure out which one you want to go shopping at, peruse the ads, and, learn their layout. Every store is different. Every time I change stores, I have to spend 10 minutes finding where the olives are. Every time I change stores. So that's it, guys. Those are my tips. I hope you liked them. I hope that was helpful for you. If there's any more details that you would want to know, let me tell you how to contact me. You can send me an email, learntoadult@gmail.com. I also have a Twitter and an Instagram, @learntoadult. You can find the podcast on iTunes. Just search Learn to Adult. We're the first one that pops up with my adorable little logo. And if any of this has been very helpful, please feel free to give me a review or 2 or 6 or 100. It would be great because reviews help my visibility, and if I'm more visible, the more people that I can help. You can also find the website proper, learntoadult.com. I think you're sensing a theme. It's where I will always post the podcast first. I will also post the YouTube link, YouTube, Learn to Adult. And yeah, sometimes I post little blog updates, so it's always a little bit fun to follow. So if you have anything you'd like to say, please reach out. I've had a couple people send me some emails or some tweets my way, and it really does just make my day. So yeah. So hey, thanks guys for sticking around for this episode, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!